What's up? What's the weatherman here with a brand new video for you guys, and I'm here to show you guys the updated list for odd eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that spoiler alert out of the way. If you were hoping for an advanced guide, this is not it. We have already done an advanced guide on this deck, so with that being the case, I did not feel like it was necessary for me to do another one. This is a update, but there were only a couple cards updated. The game plan is exactly the same, so if you do feel like you need that advanced guide, go check out Undead's Odd Eyes video, where he actually did an advanced guide of this deck, as well as check out Undead's free-to-play staples that we just dropped and our Rocket video that we just dropped. Give us a like, comment, share, make sure you hit that notification bell. Check out my social at Team 6K Weather on Twitter, and let's get right into this bad boy. So the main updates are, for one, we're not playing Second Donkey anymore. We're no longer playing the 2 copies of Second Donkey. What Second Donkey did was, when this card was normal or special summoned, we could send a Performer Pile monster from our deck to the graveyard, except itself. And if we had 2 cards in our Pendulum zone, we could add it to our hand instead. We no longer play that anymore. We actually have our Wisdom guy here for our consistency. So let's talk about Wisdom Eye. What Wisdom Eye does, and yes, you see that prismatic, you're looking right. It's glistening, it's glossy, it's shining all up in your face, but it's looking clean. What you can do with this guy is, if you have a Magician or Performer Pile card in your other Pendulum zone, you can destroy this card, and if you do, place 1 Magician Pendulum monster from your deck to your Pendulum zone. Extra consistency. So let's say you have a Oath Dragon and a Wisdom Eye in your hand. You can place Oath Dragon on your scale, then place Wisdom Eye in your scale, and because you have 2 magicians, or I'm sorry, because you have a magician other than itself in the other Pendulum zone, actually, I don't even think it specifies if it's itself. Yeah, if you just have a Magician or Performer Power card in the other Pendulum zone, we can destroy this card and we'll be able to search. So by having this card plus Oath, we'll be able to destroy our Wisdom Eye, because the Oath will be in the other Pendulum zone. We'll be able to destroy Wisdom Eye and place a Dragon Pit Magician from our deck to the zone. So that's going to be really nice, giving us extra consistency. We've also got our Pendulum card here, which lets us discard 1 card and add 2 Magician Pendulum monsters. Just make sure you are not actually activating the effect of your Magician cards, because this does say until the end of our opponent's next turn after this resolves. Magician cards in your Pendulum zones cannot be destroyed by card effect, and also we cannot activate this card if we activated a Magician's monster Pendulum effect this turn. So if we activate one of our Magician monsters Pendulum effects, then we're not even going to be able to search for 2 guys. We're not going to be able to search for 2 Magician Pendulums. So please keep that in mind. Next, we played 3 Cosmic instead of Spiral. We no longer need that Odd Eyes search. The skill makes it ridiculously consistent, so you don't need it. We also no longer play 2 Dragon Pulse Magician. We just play 1 now. Dragon Pulse is still nice. It allows us to, once per turn, if we have a Magician card in our other Pendulum zone, discard 1 Pendulum monster and target a face-up monster, destroy it. Dragon Pit Magician has a similar effect, allowing us to discard a Pendulum monster to target a spell trap on the field and destroy it. So getting through back row is going to be very easy in this deck. To loosely go over the other cards here, Oath Dragon on summon is going to be able to add us a Magician Pendulum or Odd Eyes monster from our graveyard, as well as if we have a Magician card in our other Pendulum zone, we can add a face-up Magician or Odd Eyes Pendulum monster from our extra deck to our hand. Odd Eyes here does nothing but be a level 7, but it can battle your opponent's monster and make any battle damage this card inflicts to your opponent be doubled. So that's really nice. Any battle damage your opponent takes from this monster is going to be doubled. That is something that can come up. Joker is just another kind of piece of consistency. When this card is normal summoned, we can add a Performer Pile monster, a Magician Pendulum monster, or an Odd Eyes monster from our deck to our hand. Really nice, really nice. That is pretty much the deck. So extra deck is pretty plain and simple. We play Raging Eyes and we play Dark Rebellion for the skill. They are both required for the skill. We play Abyss Dweller, which is really nice, stopping those grave effects. We can detach a material. Any effect in the graveyard cannot be activated by our opponent. We also play Big Eye here. We can permanently take control of one of our opponent's monsters, which is really nice, really nice. We got Volferenigus, which on our opponent's turn is going to be able to target a face-up card and destroy it, as well as our turn. It's going to be a quick effect. Roach here is going to negate the summon of a level 5 or higher monster that would be special summoned, and Sin is obviously going to temporarily banish a monster from our opponent's field so that we can go for game. I also should technically mention Raging Eyes because he does have a really good effect. We can Pendulum summon. If we can Pendulum summon a level 7, we can Pendulum summon this card from our extra deck face up, and if this card in our monster zone is destroyed, we can place a we can place it in the Pendulum zone. And if this card is Xyz summoned using an Xyz monster as material, it gains these effects. It can make a second attack during each battle phase, and once per turn, you can detach one Xyz material from it. Destroy as many cards your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, this card gains 200 for each. Really nice. And the skill even allows us to use one Xyz as a material and treat it as a level 7. So that is actually really cool. So with all of that being out of the way, we're just gonna get right into the actual deck and get into these replays and show you guys what this list is doing with the new cards that we've got to make this mad consistent.
All right, so this hand is actually pretty solid. We've got double Oath Dragon, a Dragon Pit Magician, and Pendulum Call, but the only card you actually needed to hear me say is Pendulum Call. Since we have Pendulum Call in our hand, we have everything. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna activate and we're gonna discard our duplicate Oath Dragon to search for the third Oath Dragon, as well as get us another Dragon Pit Magician so that we can make this rank 7 and this rank 4 go down. So we're gonna activate first scale, activate second scale. Now, since we have 2 Magicians in our pendulum scales, we can activate our skill, and let's do that. Let's do that right now. So we're gonna activate the skill. We're gonna reveal our Dark Rebellion and our Odd Eyes Raging Dragon from our Xyz deck, from our extra deck, and then we're going to place 2 cards of my choice. If you remember what the skill says, I'm gonna be able to add 1 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon and 1 Magician Pendulum Monster from my hand or deck to the extra deck. So I choose to add a Odd Eyes because Odd Eyes is a level 7 and we have a level 7 in our hand. So with this Odd Eyes here and this Dragon Pit in our hand, we can make a rank 7. And then I only have the level 4 that the skill gave me at random. So I also put a Wisdom Eye Magician in the extra deck so that I will be able to make a rank 7 and a rank 4. And if you remember Oath Dragon here, he's going to allow me, if we have a Magician card in our other Pendulum zone, which we do, we have Dragon Pit Magician here, we're going to be able to add 1 Pendulum card, 1 Pendulum monster from our extra deck to our hand. So now we're going to do that, and we're going to be adding the Odd Eyes back to our hand, because the way Pendulum Summoning works, you can only Pendulum Summon the one in the extra deck to the extra deck zone, or any zone that a link monster points to. And since there is no zone being pointed to by a link monster, I can only summon in 1 zone using the card in my extra deck. So with that being the case, we're gonna add the Odd Eyes back to our hand, so there is only 1 card in our extra deck, and we can Pendulum Summon the Wisdom Eye from the extra deck, as well as all the cards from our hand that we want. So with that being done, we're gonna actually Pendulum Summon now to be able to make our rank 7 and our rank 4. And since I am suspecting that our opponent is playing Orcust because they're playing a Shizu, I assume they're playing Sealed Tombs. We're gonna go for our rank 7 in Volfaranegus and our rank 4 in Abyss Dweller, because Abyss Dweller is gonna stop their grave activations, which is gonna be really nice versus them. And then Volfaranegus is just really nice. It's a card pop of a face-up card on the field. Not a monster, just a face-up card on the field, monster, spell, or trap, as long as it is face-up. So that is really nice. We're gonna go into Volfaranegus here, which is our quick effect, pop a face-up card on the field. And now we're gonna go into Abyss Dweller, which is gonna stop grave effects from even being able to activate. So I suspect we're going against Orcust, and I am correct. He normal summons Sky Blaster. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna chain Volfaranegus, because what our guy Sky Blaster here says is when this card is normal or flip summon, you can special summon any number of Sky Blaster tokens up to the number of monsters we control. Well, if we chain and pop him, he won't control any monsters. Therefore, he won't summon any tokens, therefore wasting his normal summon. And with our Abyss Dweller here, it doesn't matter what he does from this point on. Even if he activates his Orcust Draw 2 card, that I just cannot think of the name right now for some reason. Even if he activates his Orcust card to draw 2 and put it in grave and, you know, has a Orcust effect to activate from grave, it won't be able to activate because we have an Abyss Dweller right here, and I'm not gonna allow it. I'm gonna activate way before he gets the chance to. So we pop him. He's already feeling bad. We boost our Abyss Dweller because we are able to boost our Abyss Dweller up using the Volfaranegus, because it boosts when we pop a card by their level or rank times 300 of the monster that we destroyed using his card effect. So again, we've got a very standard hand here. So we've actually just got the Wisdom Eye, a Performer Pile, a Cosmic, and as you can see, a Pendulum Call, which is all you ever need to say. So with this hand, pretty simple play. We're gonna summon our Performer Pile here, because I didn't want to discard any of the cards in my hand. So I'm going to search for an Oath Dragon just to discard said Oath Dragon, to search for another Oath Dragon, as well as a Dragon Pit Magician. So with that being done, we're going to activate the scale Oath Dragon, activate the scale Dragon Pit, and now we can activate our skill. Since we've got 2 Magician Pendulum cards in our scale zones, we can place the 2 cards that we need. What 2 cards do we place? Well, if you look at our hand, I placed a Odd Eyes and a Dragon Pit Magician. We have no 7s in our hand, so I had to place 2 7s there for me to be able to get a rank 7 off. But we do have a 4 on the field and a 4 in our hand, so we are going to be able to make a rank 4 and a rank 7. So we're going to use our Oath Dragon to add back the Odd Eyes to our hand from the extra deck, and we're going to get going. We're going to start saucing up. Summon that to the field. Some of that bad boy to the field. Some of that bad boy to the field. The only difference that I believe I should have done with this play is I actually summoned Wisdom Eye from my hand instead of the Performer Pile Claw Silver. I do technically feel like I should have summoned the Claw Silver because as a potential follow-up, if they got rid of one of my scales, Wisdom Eye here, as long as I control another Magician or Performer Pile card in my Pendulum zone, so if they would have gotten rid of either of these, I could just place my Wisdom Eye as the replacement for either scale and search for the scale to replace it, because it allows me to pop itself if I control another Magician or Performer Pile Pendulum, destroy it, and then place a Magician Pendulum from my deck. So I'd be able to get whatever was missing. If they got rid of my Oath, I would be able to place Wisdom Eye there on my follow-up turn, pop itself and put an Oath back. If they got rid of Dragon Pit, on my follow-up turn, I'd be able to place the Wisdom Eye there, pop itself to get a Dragon Pit. So technically speaking, I should have kept the Wisdom Eye in my hand and summoned the Performer Pile Silver Claw. That is the only misplay I do think I technically made in this clip. Outside of that, everything else is going pretty nice. We're going to summon our rank 7 and we're going to summon our rank 4 since we're going against a Pendulum deck that actually summons level 5 or higher, right? Because Roach says during either player's turn when a level 5 or higher monster would be special summoned, we can detach one of these material and negate it. We're going against an actual Pendulum deck that summons 8s to the field predominantly. So because of that, our Roach is going to be extremely live. And we've got a Volfarinicus here, which is going to pop a face up. So we are sitting pretty right now. So I don't know what they think they're going to do. They start off by setting a card, which is never good. You start off by setting a card. Now he's using Kepler to search for a Dark Contract with the Gate, which is going to let him search for any DD card in the archetype, any DD monster in the archetype. So he's going to search for a DD, or he's going to attempt. I'm going to chain Cosmic. Just a small thing here. When he activates Contract, don't do anything. When he puts it on the field, don't do anything. But the moment he clicks Activate, that's when you Cosmic, because Dark Contract with the Gate is a hard once per turn, and I did do a hard plus versus soft once per turn video if you guys want to check that out. But it is a hard once per turn, which means after he actually activates it, if we Cosmic it, if he has a duplicate in his hand, he can't do it. He can't use it again. He can't use it if he has another duplicate in his hand because we waited for him to actually activate it, and it is a hard once per turn. So we're going to Cosmic it, stopping him from getting his search for a DD monster. So now he's going to activate the skill, placing Kepler in his Pendulum zone as well as a Orthros. So now he's going to attempt to summon his 2 8s. I believe he tried to Pendulum summon 2 Armageddons. Look at this guy. Who's going to lose to this, bro? You ever seen Rick and Morty, bro? I promise you this is Ice-T from Rick and Morty. Tell me I'm lying. Is this not Ice-T from Rick and Morty? Regardless, he summons the first, summons the second, and what are we going to do? We are going to activate our Roach to negate the summon of both. Yes, my boy. Both. So both of them will be negated. He sets a card, or not sets, he activates a Swamp King. Guess what we're gonna do? Remember earlier when I say Volfarinicus targets a face up? Any face up, monster, spell, or trap, and this is also a hard once per turn. So just in case he's trying to bluff us by having another one set face down, hoping that I activated it and I don't pay attention, that I know it's a hard once per turn, I don't wait for it to hit the field. I wait for him to click activate. Now that he's clicked activate, I'm going to chain my monster effect, detaching 2 and popping the card. What he was trying to do was activate this to fuse from his graveyard by banishing the DD monsters in his grave, and I chained and got rid of it. Now all he has left is this face down card, which is not going to do a single thing. I activate my Pendulum monster to try to pop it, and he bails because he knows it's over. Let's get to the next game.
All right, it's time to clap. It's time to clap. If I'm not mistaken, I do remember a misplay in this clip on my behalf. So don't come at me in the comments, bro. I don't even want to hear it, bro. Unless you ready to take all 6K of this damage I'm gonna deal you, don't even hit me up in the comments. I already know. Anyway, so since we don't have a Dragon Pit Magician in our hand, though we do have Oath Dragon and we do have Wisdom Eye, we can actually activate that effect I've been talking about all video. So if we have a Magician or a Performer Pile card in our other Pendulum zone, we can destroy our Wisdom Eye to place another Magician Pendulum monster from our deck to the Pendulum zone. So we're gonna put our Oath Dragon in our Scale zone, we're gonna put our Wisdom Eye there, and we're gonna destroy our Wisdom Eye because we do control another Magician Eye Pendulum. I think this is actually where I messed up. I'm not used to actually activating this effect. I typically just activate the Pendulum Call, or I just have it, and I think I kind of forgot that I had a 4 in my hand already, so I put an extra 4 in the extra deck that was unnecessary because the skill would have given me a 4 anyway. So that was the misplay I was referring to, but it's not really a big deal. Don't come at me in the comments. I already know. So we're gonna activate our skill, and we placed a Wisdom Eye in our extra as well as a Odd Eyes. We're gonna activate the Oath Dragon to give ourselves our Odd Eyes back, and now we're going to Pendulum Summon from our extra deck as well as from our hand. So we're gonna summon out that Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, and we're gonna summon out our Performabile Coin Dragon as well as our other copy of our Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. So now, with all 4 of these on the field, we're gonna be able to go into a rank 7 being Volfrenegus. And since I'm not actually too sure what we're going up against, I just summoned an Abyss Dweller as my rank 4 because the Grave Stoppage is probably the safest route. If I had Giant Hand in the extra deck, I would probably have went Giant Hand in this scenario because I didn't know what I was going against. But Dweller is always the safe route. So they're gonna activate 6 Sam United, letting me know what the deck is. So they've summoned 1 monster, summoned 2 monster. What 6 Sam United says is, oh, it doesn't want to let me touch it, huh? What 6 Sam United says is each time a 6 Sam monster is normal or special summon, you place a counter on the card, and then you can send that card to the graveyard, draw a card for each counter. Since he summoned 2, he was gonna send it to the graveyard to draw 2, and we didn't want to let that happen, so I activated Cosmic off rip to stop that from even happening. And I'm going to activate Volfrenegus, which may be a little bit early. This might be a little bit premature, to be honest. If he did have the other 4 to special summon, he would have been able to summon it, but it is what it is. I was willing to take those odds. So he's got that, I've got that popped, and I make my Abyss Dweller bigger, making it so that his 6 Sam is gonna have to deal with my Abyss Dweller. So I activate Oath Dragon to give myself the scale back, and he chains Dual Wheel, which allows him to target 2 cards I control and put them back in the hand. And I'm gonna chain my Abyss Dweller, which is pretty much gonna stop our grave activations, or his grave activations. Any card effect that activates in our opponent's graveyard cannot be activated this turn. So we just turned off his Fuma. His Fuma says if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 6 Sam monster from your deck. But now, our opponent cannot activate effects that activate from the grave, so his Fuma is not gonna activate. So this is gonna be a really simple play. We're just gonna normal summon our Performer Joker. We're gonna search for our Oath Dragon, which people typically wouldn't Pendulum summon Oath Dragon because you want him in your scales, but you wanna use him as a scale. But in this scenario, I'm just going for game. I'm just trying to beat over little dude. So we're just gonna Pendulum summon our 2 guys. Bring out Wisdom Eye, bring out Oath Dragon. Oath Dragon is gonna activate on summon because his effect on normal or special summon allows us to target a Magician Pendulum monster or a Odd Eyes Pendulum monster, or a Odd Eyes monster, I'm sorry, in our graveyard and add it to our hand. So we're gonna add ourselves that Odd Eyes back, and then we're just gonna go in for game, just gonna beat over him because we've got lethal. Just clap him, clap it up, clap it up. Looking like an Ice Spice video right now. Get beat down. So with all that going on, the deck is pretty nice. Like I said, I was just giving you guys a quick, clean little breakdown. If you want to see a full advanced guide, go check out Undead's Odd Eyes video for a full breakdown of the deck. I was just showing you guys the updates. I appreciate you guys for staying into the end. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a comment. Undead always says he's not telling you what to play, he's just telling you how to play it. Well, I'm telling you, if your deck isn't built like the Weatherman, then you're gonna keep getting beat by a better man. Okay. So you might as well keep it 6K, and Weatherman is out.
Wait, hey, I feel like the greatest. Okay. Now I feel like they hate it. Now I feel like the only one and there is no debating. Okay. Man, I feel like they leaving. Now I feel like they waited. Now I feel like this is the feeling before I can make it. Before I hit the stage, I just feel like I'm nauseous. Or I feel like I'm popping. Or I feel like a boss is. Maybe I'm feeling off it. Or I feel like I'm toxic. Maybe feeling intoxicated is the reason for all this. I wanna whip it with the top down, dog, like I'm Earth Gang. Told him, listen, wild day shine like my first name. Told me go and grab a titty boy, it's my first chain. I ain't even switch gears yet, it's the first lane. The first pain I ever felt was the worst pain. Then church came, and that feeling of hurt came. Then her name made this feeling all worth pain. She made me realize what I had felt in the first place.